This is Sixers Universe, and what we're going to be doing today is I normally use videos, but I just want to use a screenshot, so I want people to understand what Charlotte did last night. So, okay, just take a look at this. The first thing I want you to notice is look at how every Charlotte defender has either their shoulder or their back to the Sixers perimeter players. Tobias Harris shooting under 30% has changed everything. Because normally it would be Matisse Thybulle in this situation where Gordon Hayward's cheating off. But now Tobias Harris can't shoot. And so Gordon Hayward cheats off of him. Tyrese Maxey is on the other side of the block. John B decided to pass it to Tobias. We don't care about how this possession ended. We just care how Charlotte's guarding it. So how about the two guys in the corners? Seth Curry and Furkan Korkmaz. Now, it's great that they're in the corners, but here's how radical Charlotte is being with this defensive approach. Charlotte believes so much in stopping the ball, clogging the ball up the middle, that LaMelo Ball does not care whether Furkan Korkmaz gets it or not. Same thing, Seth Curry. We don't care if you get it or not. Also, because this defender, who I believe is actually Terry Rozier, because Terry Rozier is in this position, which is literally, it's kind of like a cover two in football. Because he's literally behind the ball right here, even if you did swing it to Seth Curry, it's one pass away. See how they're all connected? If I could draw lines, they're all connected to their defender one pass away. So even when you swing the ball, it's not a hard recovery. It is a recovery, but not a hard one. So it then leads to the question, what would happen if you did swing the ball outside to the corners or to some of these guys? What would happen? Well, take a look at Maxey's man, for example. Again, barely maybe 4 feet of space, but it doesn't matter because they're going to close right in. These NBA athletes, you can cover this space in a short amount of time. So when NBA.com says quote-unquote wide open, it's not wide open. It's 3 steps and I'm in your grill again. So when you play this, I want to put in emphasis, Charlotte is playing super aggressive. This isn't a zone defense. This is more like the pack line Virginia defense, where we're just going to clog up the middle. We're going to deny dribble penetration. And because of this, when the ball is swung, the next question is, can Tobias Harris beat the guy off the dribble? No. Can Seth Curry beat his man off the dribble? No. Can Furkan Korkmaz beat his man off the dribble? No. So not only are the Charlotte defenders space guarding and basically ignoring the wing players on the perimeter, even if you did swing it to them, they can win these one-on-one defensive battles so easy that it just clogs up the paint. So what should the Sixers be doing in this situation? You should try to pick on Terry Rozier. Get Terry Rozier in a pick-and-roll situation and force Charlotte to try to help off so that you can at least get a little bit more space here. But as it is, Charlotte has no respect. Charlotte's the only one who does it to this extreme. They did it to us when we were playing at Charlotte as well. Charlotte is so committed to this paint defensive strategy that they are willing to base guard Seth Curry. They're willing to back guard Furkan Korkmaz. They're willing to do this. LaMelo Ball isn't even in a defensive position. If this were an elite offensive player instead of Furkan Korkmaz, and if Tobias Harris were a smart player, I think Tobias actually tried to drive into the paint here. What Tobias should have done when he got the ball was swing it to Korkmaz, force LaMelo Ball to guard Furkan Korkmaz. But again, it's Furkan Korkmaz, as a sports talk with birds would say. So, could Furkan really take LaMelo Ball off the dribble? Not really, and this is the problem. The Sixers do not have any perimeter valves. That's why the title of this video is The Charlotte Hornets Don't Give a Fuck. As a matter of fact, let me be clear. No NBA team gives a fuck. Why should they? Why should they give a fuck? Why give a fuck about Seth Curry as the driver? Why give a fuck about Furkan Korkmaz as the driver? Why give a fuck about Tobias Harris as the driver? So they can shoot, but they also can't put the ball on the floor. What the Sixers need And by the way, I could try to find other screenshots playing single high, and it's like, I wish that we didn't see enough pick and roll between Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid for all those. Oh my God, have split the lineup. If we just put Andre Drummond with Tyrese Maxey, all of a sudden and now help Tyrese Maxey be aggressive. No, what would help Tyrese Maxey be aggressive is this. Again, I compared it to the pack line. The pack line here is the mother ball and Terry Rozier. If you could get this pack line to actually move, if you could manipulate this half-court help defense, the lane would open up. There is no lane because you're basically fronting the perimeter players. It is an aggressive defensive strategy that you can only play because no one can beat their man off the dribble one-on-one. Or, actually, let me put it this way. The only one who can is Tyrese Maxey. Tobias Harris can't beat him one-on-one. Burkan Korkmaz can't beat him one-on-one. Steph Curry can't beat him one-on-one off the dribble. The other way that you could beat this type of defense is a drive and kick game. But no one here, it's a work in progress for Tyrese Maxey. I thought he played a good point guard game. I thought he made the right decision more times than not. But even when Tyrese Maxey made the skip pass, what I alluded to before, Burkan's too slow. Steph Curry's too slow. Once the pass gets in their hand, the defender recovers. See, that's the other thing. Even though they are base guarding or back guarding and should technically be in a very vulnerable position to suspect the drive, because Philadelphia lacks athletes, they can afford to take this defensive stance and then turn their body around and be in defensive position. The Sixers need a wingman. No more Danny Greens. No more Matisse Thybulle. Or even, to an extent, no more Steph Curry. You need someone with NBA-level athleticism on this wing position. It simply cannot be. Even Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris on a power forward, that's a mismatch. Tobias Harris on Gordon Hayward, less so. Which, is kind of sad that Gordon Hayward could stay in front of you, but I digress. Until this changes, I think other teams will do like Charlotte. Maybe not as extreme, but other teams will be like, what the fuck can you do on the perimeter? What can you do off the dribble? None of you can do anything, so we're not just going to respect you. LaMelo Ball doesn't respect Burkan Korkmaz. Terry Rozier doesn't respect Steph Curry off the dribble. And even, I feel like Tyrese Maxey, if you look at his shooting chart, Tyrese Maxey is a great corner shooter, but if you reverse this and Steph Curry has the ball, Steph Curry had a couple of nice assist games, but generally speaking, Steph Curry isn't going to hit you one pass away. And obviously that goes back to point guard. The issue here is that the Sixers just, in a nutshell, they don't have a top 50 player. So somebody say, if Ben Simmons were in here, what would this change? So, for sake of argument, the best thing would be if Ben were in over Tobias Harris. Because I don't want to take any of the shooters off the floor. They're already disrespecting you. To take a shooter off the floor for Ben Simmons would just be pouring insult to the room. But even if, pretending it was Ben Simmons here, do you see how these two defenders, again, LaMelo Ball and Terry Rozier, they're not only in good position to recover to their own man, they're in good position to help off one pass away. So if Tobias Harris tried to swing, LaMelo Ball would have cheated in the middle, Burkan is open, and Ben most likely hits him. But then you go to the consistency of the outside. Can Burkan hit shots? Can Seth hit shots? And that's not a consistent way of producing offense, where if you could just cut off the driver that easy. So that's the other problem. So even if Ben were inside, Ben is not James Harden. Ben is not elite level inside scorer where I can punish you for cheating off. In a nutshell, we talk about Joel Embiid's number 2, or at least I do. I talk about Joel Embiid's number 2. Joel Embiid's number 2. Can Maxey get there in a couple of years? Yeah. In fact, I think Tyrese Maxey could get there easier if he could just find a way to get some better off-ball scorers than the likes of Steph Curry and Danny Green. Like, it's just ridiculous. Get someone who can respect you on the back line so that Charlotte is cheating off their man. That's what they're doing. Charlotte is cheating off. Cheat off Danny Green. Cheat off Matisse Thybulle. And that's why I say put Matisse Thybulle in the dunker spot. We saw Matisse Thybulle in the dunker spot with the Spurs, with the Rockets. And he's dominating. But when you got put Tobias Harris in the dunker spot. If Tobias Harris were in the dunker spot, Gordon Hayward is a mismatch. Gordon Hayward can't guard Tobias Harris in post. I know Tobias Harris will struggle, but it's Gordon fucking Hayward. But if you got Tobias Harris 30 feet from the rim, well, what's that going to do? So you have to change the philosophy here. Get your bigs in the middle and get a guard who can attack off the bounce. Not only is it change the philosophy, but you're going to have to make a move. I don't care. Sam Hinkie got Ish Smith. Daryl, you can't do nothing. Find a way to get this team an asset that can actually unclog this. Because it's John B basically playing 1-on-3 here. In this screenshot, it's basically 1-on-3, and even Tobias Harris again isn't open because the metal ball can help out one pass away. It's just so frustrating. In this screenshot alone, you could just see what it means to not have a perimeter player who's respected. We need a perimeter player. And that's why, even if you had Chris Paul, let's say Chris Paul were in Tobias Harris's base. Chris Paul, who has a deadly pick-up pop mid-range game, Chris Paul could draw the help. And then it goes back to these three guys on the corner. Enough said.